Hey guys, let's do a little story time real quick. So I don't often do this, and actually very rarely do this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background while I open up this eBay package. Some people have told me I actually should talk more in my videos and explain a little more, but I'm going to go open this up and show you this Camaro and tell you a little bit about my personal history with Hot Wheels and Camaros and other things in general. So I'll be right back after I open this up. Here we go. Let's crack it open. I promise I'm literally just finally opening this thing up with you guys as we speak. Alright, so here we have two eBay auctions from the same seller. Combine the shipping, and I can say for the first time in my 42 years, I am the owner of a Redline custom Camaro from the Sweet 16, excuse me. First year of production. It's turquoise, or actually aqua. Alright, let's open this thing up. So here's the thing. I'm 42 years old. I was born in Slovakia and grew up there until I was 8. Came here in 1987. Instantly fell in love with muscle cars. Anything with tail fins, any big old American land yacht, a little bit of everything. I've owned almost 90 cars in my 42 years. Most of them between the age of about 23 and 30. And in the 1990s, I fell in love with Camaros. I've collected Hot Wheels since before I can remember. When I was a tiny kid, my dad used to mail them to me. He left to come to the U.S. first and then got me and my mother out. That's a whole other separate story. But I've been waiting to buy the perfect 68 Camaro. Not perfect because, in terms of condition, because I just don't spend that kind of money on one single car. That would that's not how I roll. I was going to spend $300 or $400 on a 68 Camaro casting that doesn't have any patina whatsoever. I like patina. That's totally fine with me. But here's the thing. I've been into first-gen Camaro since I was a kid. Since before I knew any of the details about things like Copos and Yenkos, and before I really even understood. I mean, I loved Camaros. I loved the way they looked before I even understood the difference between front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, which I learned at a very young age, reading car magazines. In 2002, I purchased a 1968 Camaro that was built at the Van New plant in August of 1968. The 68 Camaro was built in Van New, California, at the Van New plant. Van Noy, is it? Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about if you know Camaros. Car was out of California. It was rough. This very much reminds me of it. My buddy Ross used to call it the Mad Max Camaro. It had a 377 horsepower engine back when that was a lot of power. It was stripped, gutted, no AC, no radio, no HVAC whatsoever, actually. Everything was just absolutely stripped out. I removed the back seat. I unbolted the front bumper, made it look like a Trans Am car. It was rough, but it was solid. And I used to run 13.9s in it, but that was just because I spun my wheels. I basically drove around on junkyard tires all the time because they're cheap, and that's just how I roll. So I could do burnouts left and right every day, all day. I had to have one of these. I'm 42 years old. At 23, I owned an actual 1-to-1 scale reel, running, driving, 3-season New England daily driver 68 Camaro. And it's taken me this long, with all the tens of thousands of cars I have, it's taken me this long to finally buy a Redline. It's about time, but all of the stars aligned. I got this car for very little money. It's a 67. It's stamped 67, which I really like. It's a Hong Kong, which I really like, which means black steering wheel with a white interior. I mean, it's just everything is perfect on it. Everything is absolutely perfection in terms of the patina, the fact that the black roof is completely gone. I mean, every time I missed out on one of these cars and it went for $100 or 150 or 120 or whatever, or sometimes when I miss out and they would go for reasonable money, and I just happened to be busy working and driving for Uber or whatever. All those times, all that has led up to this moment when I got this absolutely perfect casting. And again, it's perfect for me. I get it. It's a beat up old Redline. To some of you, it'd be a little too rough. And some of you aren't really into old stuff, and other people aren't really into Camaros, and other people aren't really into Redlines, and Some people don't like missing paint or imperfect wheels or axles, or some people don't like Hong Kongs. I personally love the Hong Kong variations of the first year of Camaros and with Hot Wheels and Hot Wheels in general. Anyway, that's my little goofy story. Those of you who've been following me know that I've been going crazy with the custom Eldorados just because they're underappreciated. And one of my best friends, Ross, got me turned on to Razorback Cadillacs back in the day. By the way, also a Hong Kong car. Black steering wheel. White interior. I'm up to about 26, I think, Cadillac Eldorado, custom Eldorado, something like that. Still don't have a single sugar caddy. I'll get around to buying one someday. But I have almost every single color except for pink and brown. And every variation in between. Greens and blues and purples and magentas and violets. And I still haven't won an auction on a brown one, like a copper or bronze, or a pink one. I also would like to commission at some point, if I do get a really rough one that's worth that'd be okay to restore, I suppose. I think chrome or silver or pearl even. If you could pull off pearl spectra flame somehow. I know you really can't, but if that was possible, that would be perfect. Anyways, sorry about the shaky camera work here. For the two of my YouTube friends, like maybe Colin, who are still watching this, I appreciate the views. I appreciate your comments. I love the comments, actually. Good or bad, whatever it is, it's always interesting to get feedback. All right, guys. That's it. That's my little goofy story. I've been a Hot Wheels collector for 40 years, or 38 years, or something like that. And I've been a Camaro fan for life, and I've had a real actual 1-to-1 scale running, driving Camaro. But this is actually my first Redline. It's pretty wacky. I do have a heavy Chevy, for full disclosure. I did buy a heavy Chevy about 20 years ago, but that's not the same thing. It's missing the hood. And even though I drove around with my 68 Camaro back in the day, back in 2004, 2005, when I was working on my Project Camaro, I had the hood off a few times, but heavy Chevy's not a 68 Camaro. It's not the same thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, go after your dreams. This was like a lifelong dream for me to own a first-gen Camaro. I did. I bought it in 2002, sold it in 2006, and here we are, 15 years later. I'm finally adding a nice 68 Camaro to my collection. Alrighty. Thanks for the views.